Welcome to the research office of Dr. V. Today, assisted with my able-bodied assistant, Sione, we will be analysing making waves. Kia whanau, we're just going to go over how to look over your making waves data for your research report, and we're going to start with the quantitative data. If you want to get to that quantitative data, you go to Moodle and Block 2, Resources for the Research, the book. Scroll down the book on making waves till you get to here are your survey responses for your analysis. So this is the child and youth resilience measure. Remember, I wanted to make sure that you are actually even referencing this properly, because we are using a test for our survey, a test, and a test has been tested for validity and reliability over thousands of people. Anyway, to get into the test, you need to know that the password is health. I've already got in once today, so it will let me in again. So you click on that link, it takes you into the test results, and straight up front you can see the demographics. I know that in the research report video I said you wouldn't have to use any graphs. If you did want to use a graph, the demos would be where you could do it. Demographics demos. Demographics are the researchers' gold, but they really annoy the bejesus out of every one of us that end up filling out a survey, and you'll see why they're gold in a second. But if you wanted to be able to say that slightly more females than males accessed waves at the beginning and did the pre-service resilience test, then you could, and then you could compare that to afterwards. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Those are your demos, and then we get into the statements that are in that international resilience measure. Remember, it's a test. This is the reason why I don't want you reporting graphs, and it's not the way that you use these measures. You're not looking at these these graphs here in particular. You're just looking at the table. The table is your gold, okay? And I'm not even expecting you to put the table in the report, believe it or not. But what you should do is copy that table. So select just the table with your mouse, copy it. I'm using a normal computer. I'm just going to press Control-C to copy it, and then go into Excel and paste it. Control-V is what I use to paste it. And there's the table. It's in Excel. Right now, you've got to realise a couple of things. We've only got 60 people that started off, and because of that we have to be very careful. We can't really go on these percentages at all, and I don't want to see any percentages reported in your report. We're going to be concentrating on the mode and the median. So the median is the middle number, and the mode is the most frequent number. Okay, we're not going to be using the average, because we're not working with data that's measurable. You can't really say what the difference is between a little and somewhat. It's really personal opinion. So we have to work with the median and the mode. So they're two quite easy numbers to get to. And we also need to follow the instructions from the International Resilience Project. So if we go back up to our block course, and up here we will see that the project tells us the following. Instructions for using it. When working with an individual youth, you would assign each part of the like-it with a point. Not at all is 1 and a lot is 5. You would add up for a total score of 28 to 140, and you get a picture of where a young person is at. You could also focus on particular aspects. Individual aspects of resilience are items 2, 4, 8, 11, 13, Caregiver aspects are items 5, 6, 7. Contextual aspects are items 1, 3, and so on. So I've got a little bit of a picture here. This 1 to 5 if I was working with an individual. I'm going to take this, come back to here. One of the things I want you to do when you've done this, and there'll be 2 tables for each one. So we'll go back to our, up to the pre again. You come down here, there's another page and another set of tables. So there's around 50 items. Finishing, I'm proud to be a New Zealander. Very important to note that, whānau. Right, let's get back into the spreadsheet. When you've put pretty much, I think it's all 50 in there, what you need to do is up here, merge and center, turn that off on each of these. Okay? The first set of this is going to be a little bit messy in the way that you work with it, but bear with me. Then this bit here, cut it. So that's Control X and paste it in the column underneath. Because we don't want those percentages, but we want to be able to delete them altogether like that. Okay, and you want to do that for all those items. So, I've done that for that one. Cut it, Control X, paste it, Control V, delete the percentage here. And then your table will look a little bit more like this one here, a little bit more tidy in that. Now I'm going to get the medium and mode for the befores. So I go pre here, okay, and 60. If I divide 60 by 2, it comes to 30. That's not going to give me a middle number, because the real middle number is 30.5. So I add one on, and I know that the middle number would be around my 31 number. So to get to the 31, I go here, 19 plus 20. That pretty much takes me to 39. So my middle number is in here. Now what I've done up the top here is I put a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what the scale people have told me to do here. Not at all equals 1 and a lot equals 5. Come back here. So 1. Oh, I've put it in the wrong place. I've moved this across a bit. We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Never mind. That's me doing the cut and paste wrong here. So what we know here is 1. It's a bit better. Okay. So what we know here is that the median, the middle number, would have been about the 30 and 31 mark in between there. And we definitely know that that's a 2. Okay, 2. The most frequent number is also 2. 2 here. So we're looking for the number between 30 and 31. 15 plus 25, that's definitely in between. Here, the in between number is going to fit in a little. So that makes it 2. And this is the most frequent. So that makes it a 2. 17 plus 24, that's going to take us over the 31 mark. So we know that the medium falls here, and we also know that the mode falls here. And we're going to do this for all the items, all the way down. Okay, whānau, all the items, all the way down. Then we're going to come into our book again, and we're going to click on our post-survey responses, and you don't need to cut and paste on this one. All you need to do is double check a few things. One of the things is you've got to note that at the top that 60 young people filled out the resilience test beforehand and 49 at the end. So we've lost 11 young people. We don't know what's happened to them. They may have stopped coming to waves. They may have lost all their resilience altogether, but they did not fill it out at the end. They may have opted not to fill the one out at the end. We also now, if we look, can see that the number of females only fell by 4, whereas the number of males fell by 7. So the bulk of the people that we lost were males. Now, if you were to do a graph, because the number's under 49, you need to do the graphs in numbers. So these would be numbers down here. I'm not going to go over making a graph. You'll have to check out the other videos to see how I do a graph, because I want you to be doing something else here. So anyway, we'll get to this post. And rather than using remember these two tables too, rather than using the cutting and paste function again, which you saw makes this all messy and gives you more time, we're just going to come onto here and we're going to make this a post. And using Alt-Tab, I don't know what they are on any other device, we can jump between our Google or whatever you're using, our internet and our spreadsheet. So I have people to look up for. 49, the mode is plus 20 equals 40, 4 plus 4 equals 8, so it's going to be 5, 25. So 0 plus 5 equals 5, plus 15 equals 20. Our 25 is in 4, because this is 4. So we check here quite a bit. 4, 4. Go back, pressing Control, Alt Tab, and we can find that our mode, our most frequent numbers here. So I'll put 4 down. So what I'm beginning to see is that there's been a bit of a shift. Okay. Now, what I would do then, if I was you, wanting to go really good marks, is actually come back to your Moodle book, and here you can add up all the medians. Don't worry about the modes. The modes are just making sure that you're in the right space. If there's, sometimes they can be slightly different, and you'd note those items down in your report. But the first thing you'd do is add all these up, and you should get, add all the medians, you'll get a resilience score for before and a resilience score for after, and that score will fit between 28 and 140. So if you add them all up, you'll get a score that is in between 28 and 140 that will show you the overall growth for resilience for all young people. Okay, so you add up the medians and you get the overall score. Before, after. And I'll just throw in a number, but I think it'll probably be around 40, and afterwards it will be around 100. So what we can see here is that if we take the data as a whole and then turn it into one person by using that median, we can see that there's actually been a shift overall between the resilience of young people. Then what you can do is going back to this little printout here. If we look at the individual aspects of resilience, so 2, 4, 8, 11, how you get those is then you go, okay, that's item number 2. Even though it says 5 here, it's item number 2. So 2 plus 4. So what I would tend to do here is select that column, right click and insert, and it puts a row in, and then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6. Now I could now get the individual aspects. Now I'll have a score for before and a score for after if I add up items that I've been told to add up. That is on here. So items 2 and items 4 and items 8 and 11 and 13 and so on. Okay, and then I'll do that for caregiver. It's not going to be and I think the other one was contextual, which are all the factors outside. Yep. 1 plus 3 plus 9 plus 10. So whatever those medians are for those, add the medians up for those different aspects of resilience. And what you should see is how waves develops resilience. And you should be able to create yourself a little table instead of a graph that you can talk to and say, look, when it comes to the overall score of resilience, there was a big drop-off of young people from the services, a huge drop-off. But actually, for the young people that stayed within the service, there was an overall growth of resilience. And then when we look at the individual aspects, there was some growth. Caregiver aspects, not so much. Contextual aspects, not so much. So you'll see really what the data will show you is what aspects of resilience did young people develop whilst they were using services at Waves. This is one of the great things about using tests. It's a big challenge, I know, but push for it, get your table in the report. It'll be a really good way of showing what's going on, and talk to that table, explain that table. Okay, you only need to do one table if you're doing making waves. I'm going to sign off now. I'll come back and do a qualitative one for you.